Okay, so the guy who's the color commentator, Mississippi State football and SEC baseball.
So yeah, he brings a lot to the game, and he's right here.
Right now! Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Well, look at there, look at there, look at there. We are off and running. Off to a quick start. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, here we're off to a quick start. Welcome in on this Tuesday into the Bureau. I'm Matt. Bill is here. Most importantly, you are here. Appreciate you tuning in, however you're tuning in, wherever you are tuning in today. Thanks for being a part of the show here in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance, all across the great state of Mississippi, available to you in all 82 counties. Your hometown heroes. That's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. What up? All right, feel free to drop a comment today on the live stream or shoot me a text, give me a call. There's lots of ways for you to be a part of the show, and I hope you will. Y'all text me on the Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN, 601-885-ESPN. That's the number to text. If you need the number itself, it's just 885-3776. Right off the bat, I mean, we're 1 minute into the show, and our native North Mississippian, Jason, who's now living in Flagstaff, Arizona, sent us a text, and it just says, "Help me, LOL," and it is current video of his front yard, and there's snow all over everything. They have snow on the rooftops, on the ground. It's falling. It's sticking in the trees. Snow. And y'all, it is April the 27th. And today, here where we are, I don't know about, is it getting up to 80 today in Jackson? Bill, have you looked at the forecast?
No, but I can here real quick.
I'm just curious. See, because, look, the high today, I don't know if
it's not going to snow.
Well, we know that, don't we? Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, the next few days in my hometown of Tupelo, we've got highs in the 80s. Like today, it shows the high of 85. Tomorrow, the high of 88. No chance of rain.
Ours is 84 today, about 4 p.m.
I mean, think about that. And he's out there right now getting snowed on. I know it's a long way away, but it ain't that far away. There's something going on between here and there. That's all I know. Yeah, don't turn your sprinklers on, Jason. It's snowing on him out there. Well, I'm really thankful for the weather and thankful for this Tuesday show. I don't really know where to start, though. Okay? I really don't know where to start. I listened to about the last 10 minutes of Chris Brooks' show. That didn't help me a whole lot as far as where to start. I don't know. What were they talking about? What were they talking about the last one? The other thing was that we began the show today. Before we actually started the show, I did a little nod back to one of my favorite sitcoms. I texted Bill and just said, "Howdy ho, neighbor Bill." Well, obviously that's a little bit of a nod, like we said, back to, Home Improvement. Great theme. And I thought, well, theme song. And I just had one of those stray thoughts, I couldn't help but sometimes your mind just wanders, a stray thought. I thought, I wonder what our listeners would compare us to. Like if we were to ask the listeners who they tune into the different shows here on the station, Bo.
Of course, his name was Wilson, by the way.
It was.
Yeah,
right.
He peeked over the fence, yeah.
But, was his name Wilson?
Yeah, Wilson.
Yeah, and you're pretty close to that.
Pretty close.
I like the grunt. Anyway, I just was curious if you were to poll all of our listeners who they tune in throughout the day to the different shows. You got Bo in the morning, then the Gridiron with Chris Brooks and Beaver, and then us, and then Jake in the evenings, afternoons, evenings. I wonder what sitcom they would relate and compare us to. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, is Bo's show, is that the Married with Children, show on our lineup? What are we? Are we the Andy Griffith show? And Jake, what's Jake? What do you compare him to? Anyway, I'm just curious what people would come up with. And I thought, but that was really that's
something
something.
having to do with get good hair would have to be with Jake.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know what that would be. So I don't know that, but that's one of those that you ought to save that kind of question and topic for what, June, late June, maybe that second week of July. You've had July 4th. You come back. You haven't quite made it to SEC Media Days yet, and you just need something to talk about because, frankly, at that time, Major League Baseball and the All-Star break just ain't cutting it at that point. Yeah. So anyway, no, I'm coming to your phone calls. And then I'm coming to your texts. I knew that would get a few in here from Grumpy and Law Dog. I'll get your texts coming up. And then I'm about to jump over to the phone line. I just wanted to pass this along, though. I saw this because it came up on yesterday's show. So it's sort of an update on some things we talked about yesterday. Sure enough, here today on Tuesday, and this is like within the last hour when this is being reported. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so very recently, within the last hour. Fully vaccinated Americans, we're talking about coronavirus, by the way. Fully vaccinated Americans don't need to wear a mask outside except in crowded settings. That's under new guidelines released today by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Thought I'd pass it along. We talked about the outdoor mask thing after watching baseball this last weekend, people sitting outside with masks on. So now the next question is crowded settings. Does that include Vanderbilt baseball? Crowded settings? Fully vaccinated Americans don't need to wear a mask outside except in crowded settings. And that's under new guidelines released today, Tuesday, by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Anyway, thought I'd pass that along. I'll give you the rest of it coming up. Let's head over to the phone line. Peas and Cornbread hanging on the line for us. Appreciate you calling, Peas and Cornbread.
Hey,
what's up?
Hey, and I'm as proud as a peacock standing on top of the Empire State Building today.
Why is that?
I'm pretty proud. I tell you right now, even though our Mississippi State and Ole Miss baseball teams took a little bit of a hard task this weekend, they still in the 25, and I look down there at the bottom, and here comes the Golden Eagles from the University of Southern Mississippi. I don't know if we got anything more proud about than our baseball here in our state. I don't know if any other state has three colleges in the top 25, but we do here in Mississippi.
Yeah. Well, hey, and I'll tell you this, Peas and Cornbread, okay, so success on the field, wins, losses, yes, I think the state of Mississippi compares to anybody. No, anybody would be the right thing. But what I've pointed out before is when you look and go per capita, nobody else in the country supports college baseball quite like the state of Mississippi does.
I had this old preacher, amen, shouting hallelujah, get off foot.
Let's see. Yeah, and Southern Miss took 3 out of 4 from Western Kentucky this past weekend. So they played 4 games. It was in Hattiesburg. Yep.
And one of the polls, I showed up as 23rd, I think. That time.
Well, and the one that really matters, they're ranked higher than that. Peas and Cornbread. The RPI ranking, which is your ratings percentage index.
Yep.
Their Southern Miss is sitting there at number 18 in the country in that one. Yeah, so
where's the Ole Miss State?
Ole Miss, okay, so Southern Miss is at 18 in the RPI. Ole Miss is at 15, and then State is at number 6. Here's what's going to happen. Barring something crazy that you couldn't possibly predict, what's going to happen is they're going to come out with the host sites pretty soon. I don't think Southern Miss is going to be one of the host sites, but they're going to be a 2 seed, a very high 2 seed in somebody's regional in June. I even saw one projection that had them going to the Oxford Regional. Whoever gets Southern Miss in there as their 2 seed is not going to be very happy about it. I'll put it that way. But that's what's going to happen.
That's some good baseball ahead of it. But one more quick point of pride. I've got a granddaughter. If anybody has the privilege of bragging on the ground because his grandpa's got it, my granddaughter's a senior at Clinton High School, and she is in the National Merit Scholarship finalist, the last group. And she made a 34 on ACT. And I'm proud to announce to all that listen to me, out of all the places that she could have gained a scholarship from, she had many of them. The University of Southern Mississippi won out for her privilege of her attending college down there. So
That's great.
I'm proud to be top.
You're over the moon. Well, hats off and congratulations, sir. Yeah. Hey, and congrats to her. 34 on the ACT. That's big time. Way to go.
Perfect on two of them. Of the section.
Wow. That's awesome.
She didn't get her smart from her grandpa.
That's all right. Hey, well, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Call me anytime. Made it 34 in the ACT, all kinds of scholarship offers academically, and chose Southern Miss. Way to go. That's outstanding. Outstanding. Real quick, before I jump back on the phone line, on the Country Pleasing text, Law Dog said that Jake's show would be the Gomer Pyle one. Gomer Pyle, USMC. Was he in the Marine Corps?
Yeah, Gomer was, yeah. Gomer
Yeah, that's right. Gomer was in the Marine Corps.
Sergeant Carter?
That's right. Jason and spinoff of the Andy Griffith Show. Jason in Flagstaff said it's supposed to be 80 degrees out in Arizona by Saturday. Good, nice. So it's snowing today, and by Saturday they're supposed to have 80-degree temperatures. Better take a picture of that snow. I mean, I'm telling you what. Dog Tired in Florence said, I want to meet the other Jason in Flagstaff. People take Arizona's weather for granted. It's probably the most diverse weather in the U.S. Dog Tired says, I worked north of him in Page, Arizona. Flagstaff, Arizona got 125 inches of snow that particular year. Speaking of, the man, Jason in Flagstaff, is on line 2 on the Davini Equipment phone line, Davini Equipment, Madison and in Jackson. Jason, snow today, 80 degrees on Saturday, huh? Just hang on. It's going to change soon.
Yeah, and it's 105 degrees in Phoenix by the weekend. So, yeah, he's right. The weather's crazy here. Depends on where you're at.
No doubt. Wow.
And, what was it, Gomer Pyle? If you'll look up Sergeant Carter, he looks just like Butch Jones.
I can see this.
It's creepy how close they look.
Certainly a similar haircut for sure. Yeah, at the very least.
Yeah, I called because you made fun of me here a while back about defending the CDC.
So, did I really?
I thought I'd call in.
No, somebody yesterday. Well, yesterday somebody texted in and made fun of you. Well, he just said.
I don't.
He said your friend out in Arizona probably going to take exception to that, but anyway, it wasn't too bad.
I wasn't even listening yesterday, but I'm irritated at the CDC this morning. That was hot garbage that they issued.
How so?
Well, you're talking about if you read the whole thing, the CDC director is talking about maybe it'll encourage people to get vaccinated. Like, she's doing public relations instead of issuing guidance based on the science. And I say that because the National Institute of Health, Dr. Fauci's organization, literally just published a study like 2 weeks ago that it pretty much says coronavirus is nearly impossible to catch outside.
Right. And that was kind of what he said in the interview that he did on ABC.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you've got the real experts over here telling folks, you know, you go outside, you're not going to catch it. And then you've got these bureaucrats here trying to push the vaccine, and that's why nobody's listening to either one of them. It's ridiculous.
Right. Because you know what, honestly, a lot of it's like, you know, look at TV ratings for certain things, Jason. The fact of the matter is, I mean, a whole big majority portion of your general public, they see right through any and all BS. You know, they may get fooled here and there. The fact is, you know, our younger population is the most gullible. They're the ones who, you know, from about 16 to about 25, maybe even up to 30, that's the age people that probably get fooled the most. But you get above 30, certainly you get above about 40, it's really hard to fool people. You can fool them some of the time, but you can't fool them all the time. So they kind of see through it, right? And
Yeah.
And so I'm with you on that. It's like people are going, look, I kind of see through the BS. So instead of trying to pick and choose through what you're saying, I just ain't going to listen. I'll figure it out myself. And that's not really what you want, but I think people have been forced into that position to a large degree. And that's what you're saying. See, okay, this right here, my thought when I read the first paragraph of this thing today from the CDC, Jason, kind of goes along with what you're saying. My reaction was when I read this, it says fully vaccinated Americans don't need to wear a mask outside, comma, except in crowded settings.
Yeah.
Under new guidelines released Tuesday by the Centers for Disease. And I went, well, hold on a minute. See, ambiguous at best, which is what we seem to have always gotten from the CDC, is you go, I just read a quote from Fauci from a couple of days ago where he goes, it's basically impossible to catch it outside. Certainly if if you're vaccinated outside. And he goes, he says this, when they come back and go, vaccinated Americans don't need to wear a mask outside. But then they put a comma in here and it says, except in crowded settings. And I'm going, wait. So, yeah, basically what you're doing is you've put out new guidelines. The whole purpose is not to give people a guideline they ought to, stick to. The whole purpose is to motivate people to go get the shot. Now, I'm all for the shot. I went and got it. My wife and I went and got it. As soon as we could get on the list, we went and got it. Happy to. Glad we got it. Both shots.
I am too.
Okay.
I get my second one tomorrow, actually.
But is it wrong of me to, at the same time, Jason, sit here and go, who am I to tell somebody else they ought to get it? I can't tell anybody what to do. And you've got the CDC going, let's word this very carefully here. Because really what we want to do is we want to take all these sheep, and we want to sort of sheepdog them right on into the chute. That's what we're trying to do here. So word it however you got to word it. I think you're right on.
I think it's stupid, though. The people that are not just rushing to get the vaccine aren't listening to them anyway. It's stupid.
Well, they're not. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really understand. I haven't yet, in my mind, been able to wrap my thoughts around the reasoning behind somebody who goes, I will never get the vaccine. I don't want the vaccine.
Yeah.
I don't really understand that. But at the same time, I go, they're grown folks. They make their own mind up. As long as they don't tell me what to do, I'm not going to tell them what to do.
I get where they're coming from, and let's just say that the CDC side, the people that constantly cry about COVID and all this other stuff, they're not the only sheep in this country. There are sheep on the other side too,
yeah.
and I'm assuming the one that was making fun of me yesterday is one of them for the other side.
Yeah, may have been. Well, you're right.
Anyway,
I just think you're better off. I'm not saying that everybody ought to be pessimists and be pessimistic, or totally untrusting of anything. I'm just saying everybody develop the ability to think for yourself and make your own mind up on stuff. Averse to any pressure, right? Because what you're saying is you got people who in all around us who have felt a lot of pressure from their peers and people around them to not get vaccinated. They have felt pressure from people around them to not wear a mask and all that. Okay, well, listen, don't worry about pressure. Take in as many facts, look through the BS, take in the facts, decide what's safe and what you ought to do. Same thing on the other side. There's a lot of people who have felt pressure to 24 hours a day keep a mask on their face. There's a lot of people who have felt pressure in it. Well, don't feel the pressure. Learn how to think for yourself. And we have way too many people who don't. So I think we're like-minded.
I try to listen to both sides and split right down the middle. You can't follow either side usually. Anyway, y'all have a good day.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you. Well,
bye-bye.
And, to take it a step further, okay, so you got it today. It says, I'm giving you this information. This is from USA Today. They said it was going to come out. It affects sports fans if you're going to baseball games. Okay, I say it affects it. It's supposed to affect you, okay? So just listen. It says fully vaccinated Americans don't need to wear a mask outside except in crowded settings. That's according to the CDC. During a White House briefing, public health officials said fully vaccinated individuals can unmask while walking, running, hiking, or biking outdoors alone or with members of their household. Vaccinated people also don't need to wear a mask during small outdoor gatherings with fully vaccinated family and friends, or at gatherings with a mixture of vaccinated and unvaccinated people, they said. So if you read through this the way I read it, is it basically says, yeah, but if you go to a ball game outside, you better have your mask on outside. And back to what Jason's pointing out, this is actually contrary to what some people, including Fauci, said on national television like 2 days ago. Now, I know it doesn't surprise anybody that you'd find people out there with differing opinions on this. It's just that this is very different than what he said. What Fauci said a couple of days ago was, hey, man, outside it's just about impossible to get it. Well, that's a whole lot different than this. So anyway, I'm just passing it along. And, you know, for me, certainly outdoors, very seldom am I going to have my mask on. But I go in somewhere, go to someone's house. I don't mind putting a mask on one bit. But the whole thing about having them on outside, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. I can't link it up. Maybe I'm the dumb one. I'll come to your texts and your phone calls, and we'll keep it going next here. Just getting started today. Y'all stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if, you know, who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy.
It's back to the Matt Wyatt Show on the 50,000 watt sports powerhouse. ESPN 105.9 The Zone and streaming.
Check it out online now
at thezone1059.com.
All right. Back with you in the Bureau. Got a special guest in here, but first I want to get to Lynn, who's hanging on line 2 and been hanging on for quite a little while. Lynn, I appreciate you being patient. What's up?
Oh, no problem, man. I didn't know you had a guest coming. I just think you got in late. But
no worries.
No, I was going to say something about the vaccine. The reason I ain't got it is because I want to see what happens. It just seemed like it got out quick. But, that's the only concern I have is how quick we rushed that thing out there. But what I really called about, Matt, was, you know how we took Bristow out late Sunday?
Yeah.
I was wondering what everybody said about that, because I'm not going to second-guess the coach. He ain't made a wrong move yet. So, who's perfect? I don't know nobody perfect, but I didn't hear what nobody said because I didn't get to listen.
Sure.
And I was wondering what people had, or what you thought and others thought. I could see where you can take him out of pitch to batter before, but I can see how he left him in too, really.
Well, you know what? I thought, Lynn, now, I can only speculate in my head, but I was thinking about this yesterday afternoon. So, you know how Brandon Smith has been your number one middle reliever out of the bullpen all year. The number one, he's not your closer. Sims is your number one closer. This has been your number one middle relief guy, and how he wasn't on the trip.
First guy out.
Right, he's the first guy out of the pen, and he wasn't on the trip, so he's not there, right? And I was just thinking,
I didn't know that.
He was not even there. I don't know that we got.
That answers the question.
Yeah, I think it does. Okay, because yes, they have a lot. They have a lot of depth. Yes, they have a bunch of other guys. But I was thinking, you know what? There's part of me that says that win or lose, they'd already won one game at Vandy and almost win or lose. I could understand the coaching staff going, I want this guy to go through that lineup a third time. Let's see how he handles it. He's just a freshman. We're trying to develop this guy into a future ace. He needs this experience. I can understand. But at the same time, if you had Brandon Smith sitting there.
I get it a whole lot more now that Smith ain't there.
Yeah.
I didn't know he didn't make the trip.
If you had Brandon Smith sitting out there ready to go and be used, I would almost guarantee you with a 4-0 lead or whatever it was, that after he got through that lineup twice, they would have gone ahead and lifted Fristow. Yeah.
I think you're 100% right, Matt. And like I said, I did not know that. That's why I don't second guess the coach. I just have questions. He's the one paid, and he's done an excellent job, and I ain't got no problems with it. We got what we had to have, and we're going to be just fine. But I was curious, and that's good to know. I get it now. I really get it.
Right. They were juggling the fact.
I'm going to let you get your guess.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Lynn. Appreciate the call. Well, as you have heard from her before, our lovely guest in the studio gets her own round of applause. Take a bow, homecoming queen.
I'm really not a guest.
No.
I don't think I should be called a guest anymore, because that might really excite people that you've got some big guest on. Maybe just say,
my co-host?
No.
My better half?
I'm going to come up with something for you to say.
How do you feel about that when people say, oh, your better half?
Well, nobody says that to me.
Well,
they say it to you. I'm just playing.
You said something really funny just then and didn't even intend to.
What?
That people don't tell you anything about your better half.
I did intend to say that. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, so you're a regular.
You're talking baseball today, huh?
We've had some baseball, but that's not where I'm going right now.
Oh, where are you going?
You just stepped in the studio. Now, you and I, we touched
The Bureau.
on this in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. You and I touched on this yesterday. It came out today. CDC.
The mask. We have to talk about the mask.
We have to talk about it. CDC has new guidelines today.
Shocker.
It says listen to this sentence.
Okay.
Fully vaccinated Americans don't need to wear a mask outside, comma, except in crowded settings.
Well,
there's more. They had a White House briefing. CDC. Vaccinated people also don't need to wear a mask during small outdoor gatherings with fully vaccinated family and friends, or at gatherings with a mixture of vaccinated and unvaccinated people.
Well, does that kind of go against what they just said?
Mm-hmm. It really does. How about this? Fully vaccinated individuals can unmask while walking, running, hiking, or biking outdoors alone or with members of their household.
All of this for months, and especially recently, has just worn me out. It just wears me out. It's just ridiculous.
Let me give you a couple of things I saw.
It's comical at this point. Who is going to wear a mask while they're running by themselves?
Clay Travis tweeted, full disclosure.
So stupid.
I haven't worn a mask outdoors ever.
Who is that?
Clay Travis.
Oh, yeah.
He said, I'm glad the CDC is finally telling me that it's okay to do. I wouldn't know what to do without them. Sarcastically.
Yeah, sarcasm.
So Governor Bill Lee from Tennessee, he's the governor of the state of Tennessee.
Okay.
By the way, his profile picture of himself on Twitter,
I don't know.
It looks like something.
With him.
It looks like something out of like one of these prescription medication ads, where he's all like a model, like souped up.
Well, maybe he got a really good picture done. Maybe
he's out in front of the homestead, out in the country, walking around.
He's professional, maybe politician there.
The only way it would be more Republican is if he had a shotgun slung over his shoulder right here. That'd be about it.
Oh, Matt.
Hey, and look, you know how I like split the middle on the whole political thing? One of the funniest lines I've heard anybody say is a friend of mine. I'm not going to put him on Front Street, who said it, but it's for you know him too. But he said back when Tommy Tuberville was running for office.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Tommy Tuberville's commercials?
Yes. Well, we saw them when we went to Alabama. Remember to visit your mom or your dad?
Yeah, that's right.
And the commercials were running over there.
Well, this guy described it this way. He said that Tommy Tuberville commercial, it looks like you picked up a Republican and you shook him and a TV commercial fell out.
Tommy Tuberville.
It was, I'm talking about, he had on the orange vest, walking around with his buddies rabbit hunting, got a shotgun slung over
You're going to make
his
people think that you don't like Republicans, man.
I love Republicans. It's just, it was funny. Okay, so anyway, it's hilarious. He said you shook him and a TV commercial fell out. Okay, anyway. Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee said.
Who is Republican, correct? Assuming.
According to his picture, has to be.
Matt. What does it say under his name? What party?
It says.
Is it his Twitter or his Facebook?
It's Twitter. At Gov Bill Lee. Doesn't say here.
Okay.
Anyhow, he says, I have asked mayors in our big 6 counties to remove any remaining mask mandates and business restrictions before Memorial Day. When is Memorial Day? When does that happen? August? Or is that Labor Day? I get them mixed up.
I don't ever know when Memorial Day is. We're not being very smart right now, Matt.
What does he say?
He is a Republican, by the way.
Bill Lee said, a widely available vaccine changes everything, and it's a new season in Tennessee. I am not renewing any public health orders.
May 31st.
Okay, end of May. He says, I am not renewing any public health orders because COVID-19 is no longer a health emergency in our state. So, big 6 counties, that would include, what is it, Covington, where Nashville is? And so I would imagine that would change for, Vanderbilt sporting events.
Oh.
Because this past we were talking
That's what
about
really sparked your interest in
That's
all
it.
of this anyway.
I was just watching State and Vandy this past weekend, and all the fans there had the masks on, even though they're sitting up in the stands.
But you said that when you were in Starkville at the baseball games, you didn't see that as much.
No, early on you did. Like at the beginning of baseball season, you would go, and certainly there weren't as many people there. And I noticed that most people there were, they'd have, most of them would have their masks on when they're up walking around and stuff, and people would sit down in their seats and then take them off. Not everybody, but most people would. Here recently at state games, you don't see very many people with masks on at all.
No.
But you haven't had big outbreaks like here or in Texas and these places that opened up for the most part.
Louisiana? Didn't Louisiana do that?
I think they did. Jason in Flagstaff, you missed this, Annie. He texted me earlier. Today, today, they have snow all over everything in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Are you serious?
And get this.
What?
Their high temperature in Flagstaff on Saturday is 80-something degrees.
Snowing and it's going to be 80?
It's going to get up to 100 this weekend in Phoenix. He's in northern Arizona. They got snow on the ground right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Isn't that amazing? Jason said, the CDC has really turned into a joke. I'd like to see Fauci throw them out the window like he did with that first pitch. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when he tried to throw out the first pitch? It was pretty bad.
Oh, bless his heart. And for the record, you would just rather there not be any parties.
What?
Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah. It's the worst thing ever happened in this country.
That's what you always say.
I mean, it is. Check this out. I've got a warning that popped up on my screen back here.
About what?
So people watching the live stream could see like this antivirus warning or pop up whenever here, ironically, on my monitor.
As we discuss a virus.
Yeah, the two-party system in this country is one of the worst things ever happened to it. Kyle said Arizona is catching some of that Mississippi weather.
Hey.
Yeah, welcome to Mississippi, where Jason is from originally. Dog Tired told us, Annie, that better half is always the beautiful wife.
Aw, that's nice. I like how Bill started playing the music.
He's like, wrap it up, boys.
When he started talking about Republicans and Democrats, Bill goes, let me just turn this music on and wrap this up.
It's the worst thing that ever happened. Because
you got to come back, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
One.
I'll try to change the topic.
Because what they do is they take advantage of people who won't think for themselves and try their best to get other people to not think for themselves. That's what the two-party system is all about. I hate it. More in a bit. Stick around. We'll be right back in the Bureau. Stay with us.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Arrived today. Jeans do come true. Thank you, Blue Delta. Yeah, jeans do come true. That's what the bag says. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi, my hometown. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase. Again, that's if you listen to me, you can use discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, and at checkout, you're going to get a 10% discount off your order. So I just went online, ordered them, BlueDeltaJeans.com. A couple weeks ago, went in, I didn't go get measured. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are at my doorstep a couple weeks later. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Nice. I'm happy. I've known the Blue Delta team for years, and I'm thrilled to have these guys on as a sponsor of this show. Blue Delta's virtual tailor is a fun and easy way to get yourself into the best fitting pair of jeans you're ever going to own. Bet you never thought you'd get a butt shot out of me, huh? How about that? Just answer the questions and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions. It's amazing how they do it. They will fit perfectly. You're not going to find better material and better feeling pants, period, anywhere BlueDeltaJeans.com. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I promise you that. And I know that you are going to love them too. Make sure you use the code. And remember, jeans do come true.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
Is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jello instant pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jello instant pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jello instant pudding, made by the famous Jello folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good, busy day dessert. Jello instant pudding.
What now? How now, brown cow? I'm Matt. You Ole Miss fans, don't be making any jokes about me talking about cows now. Okay, just because I'm a state guy and I said something about cows. I like cows. I'm all for cows. In the pasture, on a billboard, on a bun. I'm all about cows.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry, Annie, had to. You.
I'm sorry, Bill. It's just gotten worse during the break, apparently. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Annie, you are so much smarter than me. And we're over here talking politics. You were squirming in your chair. You were like, "Shut up, Matt.
This is not.
Zip it.
This is not the. This is not the place.
This is not what I came up here for." Into the
stay
bureau.
in your lane, man.
Yeah, Bill.
Thank you very much.
Stay in your lane. I like it. That applies here.
Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay. There are so many texts and things, Annie, that I haven't gotten to.
Okay.
But first, we're going to start with a phone call from Hank. Is Hank still with us, Bill, on line 1?
He probably hung up.
He's here. Hank, thanks for hanging on. What's up?
How you doing there?
It's that Hank.
Who?
I wondered which Hank it was. Hey, Hank, how are things in Texas?
Oh, pretty good. I don't think I'm coming up to the Mississippi State Texas A&M game. Here, wait. Bobby's got his Game Boy up. Bobby, turn it off. Dang it, Bobby, will you turn the dang Game Boy off, boy? All right, there we go. We got him to turn it down. I don't think we're gonna wear none of them masks when we go up there to the Texas A&M game on Sunday.
Okay. Are you going to be pulling for the Bulldogs, even though you're going to have your native Texans in town?
Well, I know I'm pulling for a Maroon team in that game.
Maroon team. That's a good answer.
Excellent answer. You could be a politician yourself.
Yes.
So, Hank Hill, I
don't believe in politics.
You're anti-mask?
I believe in... I'm anti anything that restricts my breathing. I just believe in propane and propane accessories.
Good old Hank. Hey, Hank, have a good weekend in Starkville, sir. It's really good to hear from you. Thank you.
You too. See you up there.
See you, man. It's always great to hear from Hank. What did he say? Dang it, Bobby.
Turn down the Game Boy.
Turn down the Game Boy. I'm on the radio. Oh, that's great. Say hi to Boomhauer for us. Say hi to Boomhauer.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, get in there and talk about www.com, and you got then on there, man, you go click, 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 click. It's real easy.
Matt, I might be the only person that doesn't really know that show.
Oh, boy. Poor Annie.
I don't watch that show.
She's not into it.
You think it's hilarious, though. Everybody that thinks it's funny.
I just love it.
You do.
Okay.
It's funny to watch you laugh because you're tickled right now.
Bobby.
Your eyes are watering.
Old Hank called in here and got me. He got me.
I like Willie Nelson. He's got long hair. He's alternative.
Now, you take that back.
My favorite. I don't use this one enough with people. I
Now,
don't.
you listen to me, mister. I work for a living. And I mean real work, not writing down gobbledygook.
Thank you. Thank you, Hank. All right. I don't even know where to start. We've gotten so many comments and texts since you got here. Apparently,
about the masks?
Well, it's just you. Apparently, our audience just likes you better than they like me.
I'm such a special guest.
You liven things.
Guest. Maybe I'll liven you up. You lose track of what you're doing.
You're the better half of the show.
Oh.
Boomer Sooner texted the show and said, "Afternoon Drive is king of the hill." We were talking about sitcoms compared to our radio shows earlier.
That's funny.
So that worked out perfect. All right, let's go to Jay in Baltimore on the text line. Jay says, "Bill, I got an idea for the show today, seeing how it's test week for the college kids and no midweek game. Would Matt be interested in a 5-question rapid-fire test that only requires one-word responses?" Hey, I'm up for anything.
A sports test?
For good and for bad, I'll try just about anything once.
Yeah.
So hit me up.
Oh, gosh.
Rapid-fire questions, give one-word answers.
Are they all sports related?
Well, we might need to know what category.
You might need me to vet those questions for you.
Yeah. Sometimes the truth hurts, especially on live radio. NWR Mike texted the show. He said, "Tell Jason from Flagstaff that most people with common sense had known that a long time ago about the mask outside thing." See, I knew we would get a lot of that. Raider Nation was talking about the same thing. Outdoor mask day goes, certain level of skepticism is a good thing for people. And then, I do think it is. Now, I made a reference to gullible people being younger folks as opposed to older people. Mike, thanks for sending me, Rebel Mike, thanks for the link. I hadn't had a chance to click it yet, but I'll see what it is. It's something from Dan, was it Dan Bongino on Facebook? I will check that out. ResDog says, "I don't get the flu vaccine either. I'll exercise and eat healthy instead of putting manufactured substances in my body." Okay.
What, is this about the COVID shot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to each their own. I got the shot. I got
the shot. I'm glad I got it.
Yeah, I am too.
But if somebody decides they don't want it,
I'm not going to judge them.
Yeah.
No. I'm not going to judge them. I know a few people that aren't getting it.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Bill?
Oh, I just said I got it too.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
And my wife's getting her second one the first of the month.
There you go.
Double shotted.
There you go.
Double shotted my
Jeremy was trying to decipher, is it a vaccine or is it a medical treatment? I mean, I don't know. They call it a vaccine. I would assume it is a vaccine.
I think it's a vaccine.
Sven over in Germany is tuning in on the live stream, and he says, "Matt, you make no sense. Why should we like your wife more than you? We like you both." And then Mike responded and said, "I agree."
I agree.
Well, that's great. That is good to hear. I appreciate that. Tyler on the text line said, "When they require an ambiguous mask, but do not set a performance requirement on the mask," meaning, it's got to be a certain type of mask, "it speaks to the fact that it's about compliance, not safety."
Wow, that was yeah.
It's kind of deep, but it is
Yeah,
true.
it
I
is
mean,
deep.
when you really think about it, like mask up. Well, but some of the masks, okay.
I know.
I mean, some are better than others for sure. Okay.
It's been a long year, hasn't it? Since we started these masks.
I'm going to try this. Jay in Baltimore is on line 1, and he's the one who suggested the 5 rapid fire questions.
Oh, gosh.
With 1-word answers.
Oh. Are they sports related?
That's right.
Hey, Jay, are they
They
sports
are.
related?
Oh,
Well,
great.
of course they are, and you know what subject as well.
Yeah, it's going to be baseball.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
I will
Bulldog baseball.
All right, I'll try it. Let's go.
That's great.
Well, most important, first of all, hello to Mrs. Wyatt. First time been able to meet her.
Hi, Jay.
Jay from Baltimore. I'm sorry, Jay in Baltimore, but Jay from Clinton, Mississippi,
There
by
we
the
go.
way. So,
From where?
Clinton.
all right.
Clinton Arrow. Are you an Arrow?
Of course I am.
Yeah, you are.
So, Matt, here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Josh Hatcher came into the season looking to, become a high draft pick. Batting 195 currently, what can only be described as a disappointing season. Will Josh Hatcher be playing in the minor leagues next year, or will he be back at Mississippi State?
Back.
I think he might be right there. McLeod and Bednar, both draft eligible. There's been some talk of Landon Sims possibly starting next year. Who will be the Friday night starter next year? Jackson Bristow, Landon Sims.
Fristow.
I think you're right there as well.
two
Stats
for two.
between Rowdy and Tanner Allen are incredibly similar if you take a look at it at this point. Ties and doubles and triples and hits by pitches. Allen has 3 more hits. I think Rowdy has 1 more home run. Rowdy or TA? Who makes it to Major League Baseball first?
Wow. Rowdy.
I'm going with Tanner on that one.
Okay.
Biggest concern for the Bulldogs down the stretch. Timely hitting, leaving way too many people on base. Walks, obviously the freebies are killing us, or errors, and Dogs are, 11th in fielding right now. So timely hitting, walks, or errors. What's your biggest concern?
Errors.
Yeah, we got to tighten up there. All right, last one. Series with A&M, South Carolina, Missouri, and Alabama await this Bulldog team. Bulldog Nation can realistically expect how many wins over this next 12 games?
That's 12. I'm going to go 10.
Whoa.
I'll take that.
What would you say?
I'm going to say 10.
Okay.
I'm thinking 2 sweeps and 2 out of 3.
Yeah. Hey, that was fun, Jay.
That was great, Jay. You should do that again, Jay.
Thank you.
We'll do it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, appreciate that. I like getting questions thrown at me.
I like that. I thought these were going to be like really hard sports trivia questions, and I thought, gosh, can he get these right? I liked those.
I thought
I
he
think
was
we should have
gonna...
made it like Jeopardy and should have been in the form of a question.
Yeah, right. Then
We need some Jeopardy music, don't we?
we really do. Those are fun though.
Great call.
Appreciate it. All right, so hour 1 in the books, hour 2 coming up. Hope y'all will stick around in the bureau. Stay with us.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country-pleasing sausage is outstanding whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor.
And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me. Davini Equipment, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson, Highway 51 in Madison. Hey y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C-Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if, who you were with. And my experience with C-Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C-Spire, went and did curbside at my local C-Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C-Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, BlueDeltaJeans.com. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Just answered the questions, and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions, use this code. Use the code, you're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, and I know that you are going to love them too.
Same-day pickup or next-day delivery fast. At Napa, when we're not thinking about cars, we're thinking about the people who drive them. Because when it comes to serving you and our community, our motor never quits. That's Napa know-how. Same-day pickup and next-day delivery available at participating stores and on in-stock items only.
Hi, John. It's time to get back to the Matt Wyatt Show. Live in the studio. Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right, back with you. Here we go. Hour number 2 of the show, off and running. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Connected to you because of C-Spire. We're getting C-Spire fiber to the home. Super duper high speed, ridiculously fast internet. I'm going to get it in our house here pretty soon. Now, we had something funny go on there real quick.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Bill?
How about this? A couple things, first of all, for our viewers at home. Can y'all see that? The Masters Cup. Check out the thing. We got this at the Masters when we went several years ago. And the homecoming queen just brought me some water in a Masters Cup because...
I'm out of breath. I had to run because I didn't know when your commercial started back.
Because, so it's allergy season, correct? And so I have this, like a daily allergy pill that I have to take, and it really helps me as far as nose and head and everything. I still struggle with it. You know, I'm like Pigpen at the kid in kindergarten. My nose always runs. Okay, just always. I need help.
Not always.
So I've got the daily allergy pill, and so during the break, Annabeth was like, "Have you taken it today?" I was like, "No." She's like, "Why don't you take that thing at the same time every day?" Well, I just forgot it.
You can't call it a daily pill because you can't remember to take it daily.
I do pretty good.
No.
And well, anyway, you went and brought me the pill, so I took it, but I didn't have anything to drink it down with.
You ran out of coffee.
It kind of got stuck right in here.
I thought we were going to have to say, Bill, Matt can't talk.
As my dad would say, down in here in my goozle, it kind of got stuck right about there. And it started dissolving in my throat, getting this really weird taste. And I was like, the music's starting. We got to talk on the radio, and I need some water. And I said, I got to have some water. And you should have seen, if you don't think she loves me, you should have seen the sprint down to get some water in the Masters Cup and bring it back to me from Annabeth. Woo.
For those who don't know, the bureau is upstairs.
So I got, and you can't just pour the coffee that I poured in here out of my thermos from High Point Roasters in New Albany. Get your coffee at High Point Roasters in New Albany, highpointroasters.com. It's the only thing I drink, coffee, from a coffee perspective. But it's so hot right out of the thermos that I can't just wash the pill down with that. It's just so hot. So we had a little bit of an issue.
You're having a few troubles, Matt.
Yeah, but well, you solved the problem for me.
I liked your 5 questions. Those were good.
Hey, speaking of that, that was fun. If you're just tuning in here to hour 2 and you're wondering what that was, Jay in Baltimore did a rapid fire 5 questions, and they were supposed to have 1-word answers.
It was good.
And it was all Mississippi State baseball related. And he just texted and said, Matt, thanks for giving me the time today. By the way, my daughter and I are making the drive from Baltimore to Stark Vegas for her first Bulldog baseball game.
This weekend?
No, he says they're targeting the Thursday night game versus Missouri.
Wow.
He says, I hope we get a chance to say hello if you are in the park. And that's from Jay. Jay, be sure to remind me that week. But as of right now, I think I will be there on that Thursday night.
I bet that's a long drive.
Yeah.
That's fun. That'll be a fun trip. Father-daughter trip.
Yeah, what a great thing to do, too. Mm-hmm. Hey, and I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this because I'm a State fan and, go to the games there and stuff, but anybody, I think there are a lot of people objectively. You may not get it from some, but a lot of even opposing fans, opposing players and stuff who've been to the new dude, who are being objective, will tell you, hey,
such a neat experience.
It's a neat experience. It's kind of worth the drive. Like especially if you're a fan of the school like Jay is, pick that one game out of the year and drive down there. But even if you're not, if you got to drive a couple of hours, go experience it. I think the new dude and its atmosphere, especially when you get it full, an SEC weekend and kind of the whole experience if the weather's good, it's kind of like what I tell people about Texas A&M football. Okay. Is if you get a chance to go to a game there at Kyle Field, just go. I don't care who they're playing. Just go. Because that place, that stadium, It's unlike anything else you're going to see in the SEC. And I've been to all of them except Florida. I've never been to Ben Hill Griffin at Florida, but it's just the way they built it. I understand that the capacity is close to Alabama. Alabama has 100,000 plus, whatever capacity. Same thing for A&M. I think A&M's like maybe 104. I don't know. LSU's up there. But none of the other 100,000 seat stadiums, for whatever reason, are like that one. And it's just the way they built it. Your mom and dad went.
They went. And I remember my mom saying it was the loudest. She said I could feel it. She said, I just don't know how to describe it to you. It was just the loudest, neatest place. They really enjoyed it.
I've described it before, how high up you are if you're in the upper deck, but you're still, the way they built it straight up, you're still relatively close to the field for being as high as you are in that stadium. Whereas a lot of stadiums, you go to the top rows, like in Tuscaloosa, like it's,
she said it was rocking. I remember she's like, I felt like it was rocking. I thought I would get dizzy. I don't think I could handle it.
Hey, we went, and the last game in there before the renovation.
You were in the press box.
We were in the old press box.
I remember you texting me about that.
That was Dak Prescott's sophomore year, 2013. Johnny Manziel's last year. It was the last home game in there for them before renovation. So we were on the bus waiting for Dan Mullen to get on the bus, finishing the coaches show. And they already had bulldozers on their field tearing up the turf. Yeah, we were watching them tear it up right after the game was over. That's how quickly they started. But anyway, the old press box. Yeah, their fans, they lock those arms and they start going back and forth and singing. And man, our whole box is going back and forth.
No.
I was like, get me out of here. But
Matt, they lock arms at Ole Miss. You didn't know that.
Oh, I knew that. They
locked the vault.
They locked the vault. Has that really caught on?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's been a little bit since I've been to a football game there.
But I would say it was about like the Bo Wallace, Hugh Freeze years when they had good teams, were ranked. They started some of that stuff, right?
Lock the vault.
Yeah. Some new traditions they were going to start where they locked the vault.
Your favorite word, T.
T what?
Traditions.
Oh, traditions. No, I mean, I get them. They're important. They are. I just think we make too big a deal out of them.
I know you do.
There's one of my favorite songs. I have this playlist. It's not a playlist. It's a Pandora station of music that I listen to when I walk for exercise. And there's one song that comes on all the time that the main hook in the song, the lyrics are, stop all that looking back. Okay, just, basically the thing of the song, and stop all that looking back. You gotta look ahead, you gotta be here. One of my favorite sayings is be here, now. The reason it's one of my favorite is I have a propensity.
Big word.
I'm sort of made this way. I lean towards nostalgia. If I'm not careful, I'll spend way too much time thinking about the way things used to be, right? Or, daydreaming about, good old days or when I was a kid. Well, that's no way to go through life. You got to be now and looking ahead.
Would that be your walk-up song if you're playing baseball? What would be your song?
I don't know.
Good.
Oh, that's a really good question.
Good question.
I might go with Tom Sawyer.
Tom Sawyer?
Mm-hmm. And the drum solo. See, Brent Rooker was... I got that suggestion from Brent Rooker. We did an interview with Brent Rooker a few years ago before he got drafted in the first round. His walk-up song was The Best Is Yet to Come, Frank Sinatra. And I said, what was the second choice? And he said, Tom Sawyer by Rush. I thought, wow, that would have been a great walk-up song. So
I thought you were going to just say you wanted to hear the JSU band.
Oh, I said, might have the Sonic Boom on there.
I mean,
for a
come on,
walk-up
Matt.
song.
That's a given. How could you not get excited to go up and hit the baseball?
No, seriously, how
that
could
was
you
your that was your walk-up
and
song.
it would be super duper like original too. Can you people have like different obscure hip hop songs, and like Tanner Allen's got some country song, and it's kind of like whatever. And then they announce you to come up to bat, and all of a sudden you hear the Sonic Boom. And if you play it, by the way, Jackson State's got a great baseball team. When I say great, I mean they have dominated the SWAC this year. Do any of their guys have a sonic boom as a walk-up song?
They should.
If they don't, they are doing it wrong, frankly.
You know, you kind of have a swag, kind of walking up to the bay.
You have to.
You have to.
If you choose a sonic boom, I wonder if it's trademarked. Annie, when we play it on the radio, I tell people to roll their windows down, drive around Jackson, and turn it up to 11.
Turn it up.
Let's see. Sven on YouTube is a big Sonic Boom fan, and he just typed, "Oh yeah, Sonic."
It actually makes me wish for football. I know we're in the middle of baseball, though. You know I love football.
It does. Like, anytime you hear the marching band, it does make you think of it. Clayton, who's watching on the YouTube live stream, he said Brent Rooker, Jonathan Holder, Jake Mangum all had classic walkout songs. They did.
Oh, did they?
So Rooker went with Sinatra, and it became something that really caught on. People knew it and associated with it. All right. Jonathan Holder, when he'd come out of the bullpen to be the closer, it was that Johnny Cash song, "God's Gonna Cut You Down."
Yeah.
It was really kind of a cool thing. Jake Mangum was... What's the name of the song, y'all, that Mangum had? I know the lyric was, it was the 80s song, "I Don't Want to Lose Your Love Tonight." Is it "Lose Your Love"? Is that the name of it or something?
I don't know it. I don't know songs. I'm not good at that.
Well, anyway, that was his. Another one was Elijah McNamee. He was a fan favorite, and he had this song that had a saxophone in it. It was very, different. And people would bring these little... It just
caught on.
Yeah, it caught on. And he'd come to the bat, and people would have these little plastic toy saxophones they pretend to be playing.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Okay, so the name of it is "Your Love." Okay, so look that one up.
Okay.
You'd recognize it if you heard it.
Okay.
I'm not going to sing it for you.
I think that the band, though, Jay, I think the band is the best one.
It's a fantastic idea.
I just knew that's what you were going to say. I know you better than you know yourself.
I might go with the good, the bad, the ugly theme.
Oh, gosh.
The whistle. I might go with that. MSU 1980 texted the show, and he said, "Matt, I totally agree with you about not needing political parties." You ready for this, Annie?
Oh, gosh. I'm going to have to see my way out.
I'm just going to read it, and we'll move on. He says, "Each politician should answer to its constituents and not told by their party how they will stand on an issue." Matt from Brandon says, if available, would you take your child to get the shot? Well, we do the flu. She's done the flu vaccine.
I mean, she does the flu shot.
Yeah. So I imagine one of these days it'll be the same thing for kids that way.
Right.
Grumpy was really a big fan of the call from Jay in Baltimore doing the 5-question.
I told you, I think you need to do it every day. We need to come up with 5 questions every day.
Jay,
he may have started a tradition on the show.
You hear that, Jay? If you're listening, she thinks you might have started something.
It's great.
Rebel Rex, Country Pleasing text line says, Judas Priest, "Some Heads Are Gonna Roll" is a good walkout song. That's from Rebel Rex.
Oh, yeah.
Mansplain said that is his wheelhouse, 80s rock. He says that the line is "Use Your Love Tonight" by The Outfield. Okay, is that it? It's by The Outfield?
Now, I should know this, but I do
Your
not.
Love.
Do you change? You keep your song the whole season? You do not change your song? Is that bad luck? Or
Generally, they keep it the whole season.
Yeah.
I think they have been known to change it.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Yeah.
So you keep it. You better really like it.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? Honestly, it is one of the things that slows the game down some.
Oh, come on, Matt.
So what was my line? Last night, the Braves and the Cubs were on ESPN, therefore I could watch it. And we watched a while. And I'm pointing out, it was the first inning, I kept pointing out, look how long it's taking between pitches.
It was a bit much.
I mean,
Who was that guy? How many times did he have to step out of the batter box, in the batter box, take off the glove, put on the glove?
It was this one guy for the Cubs, and he hits a ball up the line, it goes foul. So he's around first, he has to come back. Well, he picks up his bat, takes a little Sunday stroll. We're just waiting. Meanwhile, I'm eating supper. I've eaten half my meal between one pitch and the next.
It's ridiculous. Why don't they put a play clock up there like they do for football plays?
Get him in the batter's box and let's go.
If you've got to get the whole team and the quarterback to throw the ball and get the play done, then why don't they do that to a baseball player?
Yeah. Make him get in there. And I'll tell you
Give him
this.
a clock.
There was a classic game that was on.
Give them
the
a strike
70s.
if they don't make it.
It was on MLB Network. It was from the 1970s. And it was the Yankees and Red Sox. And they showed it in real time, like you're watching it back then. I couldn't believe how fast it was moving, the game of baseball back then as compared to now. Pitcher got the ball and threw it. Batter never got out of the box. He's ready. One pitch, ball one. Stands in there. Next pitch, ball two. Next pitch, swing, ground ball, play it first, back on the mound, throw the next one. You wouldn't believe how fast the game was moving back then. Now, you literally spend the majority of actual time on the clock watching them look at each other. Pitcher looking at the plate, batter looking at the pitcher. Here's a shot of the managers. Oh, look, here's two guys in the dugout chewing bubble gum. Back over to the pitcher. And then we get a pitch.
Last night, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just that guy, but it was ridiculous.
It was. Forever. That's what it took. Jay in Baltimore said 5 questions a day. It's a lot of pressure.
Oh, Jay, you don't have to come up with all of them. We'll come up with some.
Jay said, unlike Chicken Hawk, I don't get paid for my segments. Well, Jay, he doesn't get paid either. Okay? He may say he does, but all that's just for effect. It's funny. I give him that. It's funny.
It's comical.
It's also a lie.
I'll come up with some questions.
Jason in Flagstaff says, I'd rather vote for the octopus than get picked Super Bowl winners than any.
What?
He said, I'd rather vote for the octopus that picked Super Bowl winners than anyone swearing allegiance to any party or their subscribers.
Wow.
Interesting. There was an octopus that picked the Super Bowl winners?
Matt, are you having trouble reading the screen?
Look, I'll just be honest.
You've missed your eye appointment.
These are text messages.
Yeah, but you need your
Not
eye
everybody
checked.
understands and sees the value in punctuation.
Yeah.
When there's not any punctuation on there.
I'm big on punctuation in text messages.
If I'm reading it and it's only in my head, that's one thing. But I got to say it out loud.
I understand.
So sometimes the punctuation or the lack of punctuation throws me off. That's my excuse anyway.
I'll go back and redo a text just to make sure I put a comma and a period and do it correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that's not normal. You are that way.
Yeah, I like to have them because I don't want anybody to misunderstand what I'm trying to get across.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Eric says that Landon Sims' walkout music is going to be considered classic by the time that he's done. Still of the Night by Whitesnake. See, and I don't know that I've heard it one time. I guess it's because, I don't know, I just hadn't heard it. I missed it. Wally said that he was watching that and the player for the Cubs is Baez. He's a diva.
Oh, he picked... I can't believe you just said he's a diva. What did I tell you last night? I said, this is so diva-ish.
It
like,
really
get up
was.
there and hit the ball or don't hit it and move on.
I'm like, he really thinks he deserves a breather because he hit a ball that went foul and he was around first base. I mean, go pick up the bat and get back in the box. Okay, so then he took his time to finally get back in the box for the next pitch. They throw the next pitch. I think it was a strike. And you know what he did? He stepped out of the batter's box and started fiddling with his elbow pad again. It is maddening that it takes so long for these games to develop. Now, last night, not too bad, because if you're a fan of the Braves, you get to watch them win. And, then there's a lead, and they had the big first inning. And then later in the game, Freddie Freeman hits a 3-run home run. You like seeing all that stuff. But my gosh, it's like playing golf. Who's got 4 hours? I don't have 4 hours to devote to that. I'm actually, I think, finally healthy enough, back's probably healthy enough, I could go pick up golf again, and play some. I'd like to. I don't have time for that.
Yeah,
Never.
but you won't even ride in a golf cart.
No, that.
You
I won't.
walk.
Right.
You walk.
Right. That I don't understand.
That's exhausting.
It's really not. I don't understand all these people playing golf, and instead of getting the benefit of the exercise of playing golf, they ride in a golf cart. Like, I mean, why wouldn't you walk?
Well, none of these professional golfers ride in a golf cart.
Because you can't.
So they're setting a good example.
Yeah.
That's why you do it. You just want to be like them.
But here's what they say. They go, well, golf carts help speed things up. Bull. They ain't speeding it up. You'd get your round in quicker if everybody was walking on that golf course.
I don't agree.
You know why they would? Because less people would play.
Nobody would play.
Now you sit in a golf cart, you go out for a round of golf, you spend, a third of your time waiting to get to the next shot. Let these people move on.
It's hot. You need to sit on a golf cart to get in the shade.
That was another thing.
That was today. We passed by a golf course, and you said, why are they all in golf carts? And I
don't get
Matt,
it.
they're on a golf course. What do you mean?
They're sitting around. They could be getting exercise by walking and playing.
We have a golf cart.
Right. And who uses it?
Well, I
Not
do.
me.
We ride around the neighborhood.
My responsibility with a golf cart is just to fill that one bad tire up with air every now and then.
It is a great golf cart. It was my grandfather's.
Put gas in it every now and then for you.
From the Houston Country Club.
Yeah. Yeah, it has
Houston, Mississippi. It has the little HCC on it.
It sure does.
And it's still got some of his stuff in it, so I'll never take it out.
Yeah. I just think more people play golf ought to walk. That's what I think.
Okay, well.
I think real men walk when they play golf.
Oh, my gosh.
Riding around a stupid golf cart. Your legs ain't broke. Get out and walk.
Real men walk when they play golf. Oh, Matt.
That's what I think.
Oh, Matt.
I used to walk and carry my clubs and play just right by myself.
I can remember when you rode a golf cart when I would go with you.
Yeah.
And I drove off with you after
Bill,
you threw your golf club.
I hit a bad tee shot and I threw my driver about 30 yards. And I looked and Annabeth just drove off and left me. She said, "That's ridiculous." And she just drove off and left me right there on the tee box.
Yep. You didn't do it again.
Made me track her down. No, not with you, I didn't. All right. Just getting started in hour number 2. I'll come to your texts and your comments next in the Bureau. I'm Matt. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Better buy bird's eye. Better buy bird's eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy bird's eye. Better buy bird's eye.
Now, if you know your oats and want to feel your oats and taste how good an oat cereal can be, well, you'll go for Cheerios. Great way to start the day with really great eating. That's Cheerios, one of the few foods made from oats. The tasty cereal grain everyone should have at breakfast. Crisp and golden as only a toasted oat cereal can be. And nourishing? Why, a Cheerios breakfast gives you the power protein that grown-ups need to help stay in trim and youngsters need to grow on. Toasted oat goodness, toasted oat flavor, a delicious power breakfast. That's Cheerios.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jello instant pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jello instant pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jello instant pudding, made by the famous Jello folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good busy day dessert, Jello instant pudding.
yourself. Now back to the Matt Wyatt Show.
All right, back with you. Here we go, rolling along here in the Bureau. We were fortunate enough to have the homecoming queen join us for a little bit here in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Thanks to you for tuning in, however, wherever you tune in. Feel free to get your comments in on the live stream or text me on the Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN. It's a 601 number, 885-ESPN. If you need the number itself, 885-3776. Or call me on the Davini phone, Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. We've had a bunch of good calls here today so far on the Davini Equipment phone line. So get yours in as well. Let me back up here just a couple things. On the text line, I'm sorry, on the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, however you're tuning in. Sven said a great walkout song, just go with Wild Thing, like in the movie Major League. That is a really good call. Clayton agreed with that. So did Mike. They said, yeah, Wild Thing, if you're coming out of the bullpen. No, that's just absolutely an ode kind of to Major League, the movie. That would be a good one, no doubt. Rhino said, I thought the coolest walkout song would be the A-Team theme song or Magnum P.I. Here's the A-Team. It'd be a great walkout song, no question about it. I used to be, as a kid in the 80s, a huge fan. The problem is, I just wonder if like any of today's generation would have any clue what it is. Probably not. All right, so I think the most exciting player in all of baseball is Shohei Ohtani for the Angels out in California, and I want to know what his walkout song is. Anybody know? He's got to have one. I think he's the most exciting player in all of Major League Baseball. He's must-see TV, Shohei Ohtani. Last night, he's a starting pitcher on the mound and had an RBI double at the plate, and he's a home run hitter who pitches sometimes. Like, he's the only guy who's done that since Babe Ruth. What's his walkout song? Anybody know? Look that one up. Some of you Google aficionados. Let me know what that is. All right, back over here to the Country Pleasing text line. Free American texted us, and he said, my dad and I would play one round of golf in 2.5 hours. In New Orleans, someone told my dad, play till you drop. 4 rounds later, we stopped. That's getting it in. That's playing quickly for sure. Anthony from Tupelo says, Matt, go play golf. You got a golf course over there close to your house. You could go play 9 holes and be done in an hour and a half. Yeah, you know, they're redoing one of the golf courses closest to where I live. I say redoing it. I know they're going to redo the clubhouse and then maybe rework the course itself at some point. Is that going to happen soon? I don't know. I should know those details, but I don't really know. That's actually the one we drove by today that I said, well, all these people riding in carts. They ought to walk. Jason in Flagstaff says, real men don't golf. They poach fish out of the water hazard. Yeah, look, in my opinion, the best places to fish on planet Earth are at golf courses because the fish are like so tame. They're big and fat and happy. And they're tame. They've never seen a lure. It's a whole lot different than the river where there's all that fishing pressure on the weekends. We got an unnamed texter here that just texted, is this the Matt Wyatt text line? Yeah, it is. I'm just going to let you know, yes, it is. Now what? Another vote for a walkout song would be Enter Sandman. And then Nathan from North Carolina texted the show. And he said, hey, Matt, found you from your YouTube film breakdowns and enjoy listening to your show. I'm from ACC Country. What are some good things about Mississippi State Athletics that a new fan should know? This is what I would tell you. Number one, baseball. come to a game, something. And, you know, it's regardless of whether the team's top 10 or top 50, you know, in line for Omaha or in the back of the line for Omaha. Regardless, come to a game if you can. Baseball. Number 2, let's see. We got a great football stadium and atmosphere. Dak played here. Probably like our coach, Mike Leach. Everybody likes Mike Leach, right? He's likable. There's pictures all over Facebook today that he went hunting with some of the Mossy Oak guys today. So there's a lot to like about Mississippi State athletics. Hang around here, Nathan, and you'll learn some more about it. How about that? Okay, I wanted to pass this along. As I sort of alluded to earlier, I have this, I just kind of have something about me. I like to look back, especially on this day in history when things happen. Here's one for you. April the 27th. This is a guy who's kind of sort of hero status for me as a baseball fan growing up. Hank Aaron, obviously. I mean, he's hero status for everybody. But on this day in 1971, Hank Aaron of the Atlanta Braves joined Babe Ruth and Willie Mays, the only major league players to hit 600 home runs at that time. He hit a 350-foot shot over the left field wall at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. They were playing the Giants, and the pitcher for the Giants was Gaylord Perry. It happened in the 3rd inning. They wound up losing the game in 10 innings to the Giants that day, 6-5. But at that particular time, April 27th, back in 71, it put Hank Aaron up there in rare air with the Babe and with Willie Mays. Now, I looked for a highlight, but all you could find, Bill, I thought you might get a kick out of this now. All I could find was like a highlight montage where this guy voiced it over. You could see the video of Hank Aaron hitting the 600th home run, but you couldn't hear the actual play-by-play call. It's like a video montage, and it is the most 70s thing I have ever heard.
Early in 1971, Perry was pitching, Aaron hitting, and the result was Hammer and Henry's 600th home run. A plateau shared by only 3 men, Ruth, Mays, and Aaron.
How about that music? I mean, the background music to that highlight sounded like the intro to 3-2-1 Contact on public television. Or like, like a chase happening on the show Chips. Remember Chips? California Highway Patrol, and they're riding around on Ponch and John, right? Riding around on motorcycles. That's what it sounded like. Anyway, that happened on this day way back when in 1971. Sure did. Hank Aaron. You know what else happened on this day? I found this. This was the day they had Babe Ruth Day. Now, it was 1940, what was it, 47, okay? So April 27th, 1947, they had Babe Ruth Day. Babe Ruth was, on April 27, 1947, Babe Ruth was 52 years old. He was basically eaten up with cancer. Everybody knew that he was not going to be around much longer. So they had this big Babe Ruth Day on April 27th to celebrate him. They brought him. He made an appearance at Yankee Stadium. He stepped up to the microphone and spoke. You really couldn't understand very well what he was saying because his voice was so depleted and scratchy from the cancer and the treatments, I'm sure. And he passed away 1 year later, well, just a little over a year later at 53. But it was kind of his last big public appearance, and it was what they called Babe Ruth Day. And then this particular day, April 27th, became every year Babe Ruth Day. And every time I think of Babe Ruth, I think of, obviously that old black and white video, and then the calling the shot, and, seeing that number 3 trotting around the bases. If you grew up a baseball fan, those images of Babe Ruth. But I also think about the great Bambino scenes from Sandlot.
You're dead as a doornail, Smalls. You're dead as a doornail, Smalls. Smalls, you mean to tell me that you went home and swiped a ball that was signed by Babe Ruth, and you brought it out here and actually played with it? Yeah, but I was going to bring it back. But it was signed by Babe Skeleton of SWAT. The King of Crash. The Colossus of Clout. The Colossus of Clout. Babe Ruth! The Great Bambino!
I mean, those scenes from Sandlot are so classic. Love it. Yeah, okay, so we had someone from North Carolina in from YouTube on the text line asking about Mississippi State sports stuff. What does he need to know? Squez said, tell the new State fan that he needs to make sure he has a healthy heart. Is that good advice for any new State fan? Okay, we got the Shohei Ohtani walkout music. Mike has looked it up. Thank you, Mike. Mike on YouTube said that it is Lost in Paradise featuring Ali. That's Shohei Ohtani's walkout song. I'll be Googling that during the break. And remember that I told you, Shohei Ohtani, must-see TV. Most exciting player. I know they say it's Tatis out in San Diego. I say it's Ohtani. Also in California. Rolling along, we'll wrap up hour 2 next. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if, who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, This is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy, better buy, better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy, better buy, better buy Bird's Eye.
Now, if you know your oats and want to feel your oats and taste how good an oat cereal can be,
on the Matt Wyatt Show.
All right, back with you, rolling along here. We're going to wrap up hour 2 in just a bit. I appreciate you all being a part of the show very much. It's just like I ask a question and you give me the answers. See, it's almost like the roles have reversed. All right, it's my show and I'm the host, and you're supposed to be able to get the answers from me. But very often on this show, I'm the one asking the questions. You're the one providing the answers. For instance, a little bit ago, I was like, Shohei Ohtani, most exciting player in baseball. What's his walkout song? And y'all found it. Mike found it. Now, Mike, I looked it up during the break. He may be the most exciting player in baseball, but if that's his walkout song, it's got to be the worst walkout song I've ever heard. Mike found it. Apparently, it's a song by Ali called Lost in Paradise. Horrible. Horrible. Awful. Horrible. And it just shows you how maybe disconnected and out of the loop I am. Maybe it's hugely popular. I don't know. Heck, man. I don't listen to new music anymore. You know, maybe that's the going thing. Horrible. Mike, on another note, and I got your message here on the YouTube live stream. You said April 27th, 10 years ago, was a terrible day in Alabama. You had over 100 deaths, violent tornadoes across the state. And I definitely remember that. And you'll remember it was a string of severe weather in Mississippi and Alabama. That was the one that tore through Smithville, right? Yeah, it was awful. Awful. And somebody worded it this way on one of the media guys in Alabama, said, you know, that thing tore through there and left a scar, both literally and figuratively, in Tuscaloosa. And it did. And it's just horrible. I'm talking about walkout songs. This has been one of those shows where it actually has been a lot of fun for me. I mean, the more spontaneous, the better, the more fun I have. And I know that doesn't always necessarily mean the best show. But earlier, before Annabeth had to leave, she goes, You didn't really have anything planned to talk about today, did you? And I told her, that's not actually true. I mean, I have a lot of things I was going to get to. I just haven't gotten to it yet. For instance, walkout songs came up. Here we are. We got suggestions. Gabe says Papa was a Rolling Stone. That's a very good suggestion. When I played the 1971 highlight clip from Hank Aaron reaching the 600 home run club.
Early in 1971, Perry was pitching, Aaron hitting, and the result was Hammer and Henry's 600th home run. A plateau shared by only 3 men, Ruth, Mays, and Aaron.
And the music, somebody texted and said it's very Starsky and Hutch. Isn't it, though? It's very Rockford Files. Dog Tired in Florence said, I know it's pure conjecture, but if Babe Ruth would have played the same number of years as Hank Aaron, even at the reduced rate that Hank hit home runs over 20 years, Ruth would have hit over 900 home runs. Yeah. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, and Ruth hit some home runs in some very big ballparks.
very big ballparks. Here's a question for everybody, though. Was the pitching that Babe Ruth faced as good as the pitching that Hank Aaron faced?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It wasn't quite as advanced yet.
Wasn't as specialized as it is now.
Right.
Even, Babe Ruth came up as a pitcher.
Right. You had much tighter strike zones back then also. Like it was back in the 20s, man, it was a lot harder to throw a strike than it is right now. So that's developed over time also. It's just like, again, I know a lot of people don't want to bring up the Barry Bonds stuff, but then you could say the same thing. Okay, Hank Aaron in the 70s, 60s, 70s, seeing probably tougher pitching overall than what Babe Ruth saw in the 20s and 30s. By the same token, you look at the pitching that Barry Bonds faced as compared to what Hank Aaron faced. There's probably a difference there.
Yeah. You had pitchers like, Don Sutton, Don Drysdale, Juan Marichal.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys.
Clayton, all those guys.
Fantastic pitchers in the late 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal.
Right. And the velocities were going up, less reaction time and all that kind of stuff. So maybe it balances out. But hey, look, the longevity's part of it also. That's another thing too. It isn't really an interesting point, Dog Tired. I don't think it's conjecture at all. I really don't. I mean, you're just looking at facts. I mean, one guy plays for a long time. Does that benefit him in terms of stacking up some of the numbers? Yeah. But it also means, I guarantee you times that, Hank Aaron's playing over the course of those 20 years where he didn't feel good and was banged up, sore, and hurt, but he's still going out and playing and still hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Staying healthy. There's some luck involved there also. But it's also part of the conversation as you get into the recent years of the McGwire and Bonds. Of course, Bonds, surpassed him. But then you go, okay, modern era, does a guy like Bonds have all those at-bats and that longevity that he did have if he's not repairing his body with steroids, which we know he did? Same thing for McGwire, which, frankly, we know Hank Aaron didn't do. Hank Aaron was not repairing his body with banned substances like the modern day guys did. So I'm one of those, maybe it's spinning it because he's sort of my hero, but I'm one of those that says Hank Aaron's longevity is a feather in his cap. It's not working against him. It's quite the opposite. This is kind of just the way I look at it. Really and truly. Lynn texted the show and he said the hitters evolved just like the pitchers have. And it is true. They've had to, right? I mean, just the competitive nature. But what I find interesting, Lynn, is there have been times over the course of the life of the game of baseball, and I'm sure it's that way with other sports too, but over the course of the life of baseball in America, where the decision makers, the rules makers have looked at it and gone, okay, we got to tweak this. It's actually going in a wrong direction. Because ultimately is, competitiveness and interest and intrigue and parity so that the fans are super invested, therefore the game grows and is healthy and everybody makes money and all that kind of stuff. They've done it before and they're looking at it now, right? Somebody texted to me earlier. Was it Norman? I need to go back and look. It might have been Norman because it seems like I read it during a commercial break. But anyway, they were referencing the minor league partnership with Major League Baseball to test some things out, like moving the mound back a foot. We talked about it, remember? To go to 61 feet and some of those things to try to inject back into the game a little more hits, a few more hits, a few more balls in play as opposed to all the swing and miss that you're getting with pitchers dominating. And it's trying to tweak it the other way. And if you missed me saying this, I highly encourage you to watch the multi-part documentary series that Ken Burns did on baseball back in if it was 20 years ago. But it still applies, especially when you go back and you watch the way they documented the era of the beginnings of baseball, but then in the 20s and the height of baseball in the 20s and the 30s, and then how that then ushered it into the 40s and 50s, and then you had the whole country just placed Babe Ruth at the top of everything because of what he did and who he was, to your point, and who he had been in the 30s. And then, of course, he died in the late 40s. And by the time you get into the 50s, 60s, what did you have? That Yankees team with Mantle and Maris, and here's Roger Maris and Mantle both appearing that they're going to chase down Babe Ruth's home run record in a season. And what happened? The decision makers, rules makers in the game of baseball back then thought this isn't good for baseball if they catch Babe Ruth. We need to protect Babe Ruth. What are we going to do? Well, they worked with the umpires while Maris and Mantle are going to the plate. Of course, Mantle didn't make it. He got hurt. Maris did make it and caught him ultimately. But they went to the umpires in baseball and said, hey, expand your strike zone. Call more strikes. Give the pitchers a little more on the edge. Therefore, making the pitchers a little more competitive. It's becoming too easy for these guys to hit home runs and catch Babe Ruth, and that's not going to be good for the game. See, they tweaked it in favor of the pitchers back then in the 60s, or tried to. Now, it's fixing to go the other way if some of this stuff goes through. They're going to tweak it in favor of the hitters, get them going a little bit. What happened when they tweaked that and widened the strike zone back there because of Maris and Mantle? Roger Maris still caught the home run record and passed Babe Ruth. But then for the next 10 years, pitchers dominated the game. That's when Sandy Koufax and these guys came along and just started dominating everybody. It's really interesting how those little tweaks here and there can sometimes make a difference. And it looks like the baseball folks, as we have read about, are thinking about tweaking it to benefit the pitchers now. Benefit the hitters now. Get them going a little bit. We'll see if it works. If you leave us, have a great night. If not, stick around for hour 3, would you? Stay with me.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country pleasing sausage is outstanding whether you cook it over a fire or in the house. Cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor. You see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me.
Davini Equipment, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson, Highway 51 in Madison. Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their No Bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max. Got it at C Spire. Went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, BlueDeltaJeans.com. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Just answered the questions, and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions, use this code. Use the code, you're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, and I know that you are going to love them too.
Life can appear to be hard. Taking regular, daily, small steps to deal with our problems leads us towards our ultimate goals. Remember, yard by yard, life is hard. Inch by inch, life's a cinch. To learn more, check us out at thekindnessrevolution.net.
This is WRKS Pickens Jackson. Live
in the studio.
Live and local. This is the Matt Wyatt Show. Talking about sports from around the world and right here at home. Streaming to you at thezone1059.com and on your radio on ESPN 105.9. The Zone.
All right, here we go. Back with you live in the Bureau. In the Farm Bureau studio, I'm Matt. Hour 3 of the show every day. Hour 3 presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Anything residential regarding a place to live or stay in Starkville, that's where you want to go. Call them. Go to their website, overstreetproperties.com. Maybe it's moving to Starkville, going to be permanent, need a place, need a house, going to start, house shopping. Maybe it's a condo, going to have a condo for when you come into town. Or do you have a student? You have a child who's going to go and be a student at Mississippi State, maybe next fall. This summer, talk to Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties and find that off-campus apartment, wherever you want to lease, and they'll get you hooked up. Overstreetproperties.com. Check them out. I'm Matt. Bill's here. Most importantly, you are here, and we appreciate you being here. We had some questions yesterday about the SEC tournament. If there was any ticket information. Did just a little bit of checking around. The hope out there seems to be that we will have some information on that this week. Today's Tuesday. We got several days left in the week. But just based on the calendar, okay, you would think, and with some of the stuff that's going on, just like we talked about yesterday, with some of the stuff going on, and you look at the calendar, you would think that this makes a lot of sense. That we'll get some info this week. We're in the last week of April. The SEC baseball tournament in Hoover is supposed to happen the last week of May. Had there been some type of announcement of policy and how many tickets and how fans are going to be seated in the stadium, all that kind of stuff, had there been an announcement last week or yesterday, it could have changed, because today is when, you've got this CDC thing saying, loosening up a little bit on what they recommend anyway, as far as masks outdoors, those kinds of things. So it makes sense that maybe by the end of this week, last week, April, sometime this week, we get some info and we can kind of proceed accordingly. Okay, so whenever that happens, I'll get it out to you. And also follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. It's just at Radio Wyatt. I don't do a lot of reading on Twitter. I probably actually do too little, frankly, because there's a lot of news there. Okay, we get here on the show. I pull up a list or two. I got a college football list, and I've got an SEC list, and sometimes I'll pull those up and read during the show if there's anything that pops up. I don't really read much Twitter the rest of the time. I just use it to produce content. My theory is, it's really hard to be equal parts consumer and producer. You generally got to be one or the other, particularly if you take being a producer, very serious at all. And that's just one man's opinion. Okay, it looks like there may be a little bit of breaking news regarding football. Let's see if this is a story that I can get to the rest of it. All right. It doesn't look like it's lengthy, but right now, it looks like this did come out on Twitter thanks to my SEC list. This came out, an hour ago? Or just inside an hour ago? According to David Johnson from Rebels 24/7 Sports, David Johnson covers Ole Miss for them. Had a headline that said, sources, Randy Clements terminated as the Ole Miss offensive line coach. You click the link and it takes you over there. And yeah, David has a story that he posted 1 hour ago. Randy Clements terminated as Ole Miss offensive line coach. And it's really short. It just says, multiple sources have told the Ole Miss Spirit that offensive line coach Randy Clements has been terminated. Termination took place Tuesday morning, so this morning. He was entering his second season at the helm of the offensive line under head coach Lane Kiffin, hired in January 2020, shortly after Kiffin was hired as the Rebels head coach. Clements' previous post was as the offensive line coach at Florida State. No more details or anything. It just says this is a developing story, is what you have. And again, that coming from David Johnson. Interesting timing. So you just had spring practice. You got that over with. This particular recruiting cycle behind you. You get the spring practice part of it over with. You get spring game, just had the Grove Bowl, get that over with, and fire the offensive line coach, according to David Johnson. Not really sure. Hadn't heard it. Don't really know, what it's about. That's one of those things you certainly can't just read the comments and understand what it could be about or what it is or isn't about. You just don't know. So I would say that guys like David Johnson covering the team full time, they are the ones who'd have the details. But certainly curious timing on firing a coach. You know, given the timing, given that it's not a stepping down, it's a terminating thing here on Tuesday morning, April 27th, it makes you wonder what happened. So we'll have to see. Y'all text me on the Country Pleasing text line. Let me do a little going back here and see what people say. I got Lynn, Denzel, Jason, others, Nathan, Dog Tired, that kind of were in on the last part of hour 2, but we didn't quite get to it. We did mention this is the anniversary, or somebody brought it up to us on the live stream, the anniversary of the tornado 10 years ago that killed 100 people in the state of Alabama. Jason in Flagstaff, Mississippi by birth, said the tornado that scoured up the road and impaled a pine needle into the side of a cinder block building in Philadelphia, Mississippi 10 years ago today was the strongest tornado ever recorded in the U.S. until the Reno, Oklahoma one a couple of years ago. I think, Jason, you actually had one that went through parts of Jones County in that area a couple of years ago that might have topped it, actually. But yeah, I mean, you're just talking about just deadly, deadly tornadoes. And you hate it, but we get them. You know, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's kind of like living on the coast in regards to hurricanes. It's as much a fact of life as taxes. Yeah, somebody reminded us that Sandy Koufax was, you know, a guy that was playing while Hank Aaron was playing. They face each other much? Would they have faced each other? How did those careers overlap? Sandy, or did they? See, I've never looked it up. Let's look it up right now. Because you can look up matchups. Pitcher versus hitter. Koufax versus Aaron. What do we have here? I'll see if I can find some numbers. Best batter and pitcher matchups of all time. Yeah. So it's a list that would include that one. So in that list, you got Hank Aaron versus Bob Gibson. Here it is. Hank Aaron versus Sandy Koufax. Of 73 players with at least 40 career plate appearances against Koufax, only 5 of them hit 300. Most of that was against pre-1962 Sandy Koufax. So Hank Aaron hit 259 against Koufax from 62 to 66. But it does say that Hank Aaron faced Sandy Koufax. Am I looking at this right? 116 at-bats and hit 7 home runs against him? Yeah. Overall, in 116 at-bats against Sandy Koufax, Hank Aaron batted .362. No doubt. Like for comparison, you go all-time pitcher-hitter matchups, just for comparison. Mike Schmidt versus Nolan Ryan. Mike Schmidt faced Nolan Ryan 56 times and batted .179 against him. He did hit 5 home runs. How about that? Here's another amazing one to me. Barry Bonds versus Randy Johnson. Barry Bonds faced Randy Johnson 49 times and batted .306 against him with 3 home runs. Good gracious alive. Let's see some other ones. Hank Aaron had a hard time against Bob Gibson. Man, we lost Bob Gibson and Hank Aaron within months of each other this past year, didn't we? Hank Aaron faced Bob Gibson 163 times and batted .215 against him. He did have 8 home runs against him. Yeah, pretty cool. People, you know, baseball people, my hat's off to them. They'll find any stat. They got any stat you can possibly dream up. They've got it.
Bob Gibson was a heck of a pitcher.
And so intimidating.
Oh, gosh. There was a lot of legs and arms coming at you right there.
I mean, his leg kick if you tried to go out there and if I tried to go out here right now and recreate his wind up and leg kick, I'd pull something.
Yeah.
I would be sitting in an ice bath tomorrow. I'd be so stiff I couldn't walk. He was so athletic, and you're right. I mean,
threw very hard.
Really hard and challenged you on the inside part of the plate. And
Wasn't afraid to throw inside.
No. I'll tell you something that was interesting. You can't think of everything. You can't pick up on everything. As a kid growing up, I was always watching Braves games and very familiar with the lineup and the players and Dale Murphy in that era of the 80s. Dale Murphy, Bob Horner, Chris Chambliss, Bob Watson, Rafael Ramirez, Claudel Washington, the whole team there, the makeup of those 80s Braves teams, and obviously Joe Torre, the manager. But just recently, here in my 40s, I'm on YouTube and I found these things that they produced back in those days in the 80s on TBS. And I think the name of it was almost like a behind the scenes, like documenting the season for the Braves that TBS did. And then they would put together an hour-long piece and broadcast. It was really cool, called It's a Long Way Till October. And you get a behind-the-scenes look at all those 80s Braves teams. It's really neat to go back and watch that. But I didn't realize it back then until I watched it now, Bill, that Bob Gibson was a pitching coach on those 80s Braves teams.
Yep, sure was.
I'll tell you what was fascinating when you go back and watch that, too. They did such a good job. Of course, it's TBS who, what's his name? Ted Turner owned all that, all the money in the world, started CNN. He's got everything at his disposal, but he's hired people apparently to just have cameras and microphones just documenting and following the Atlanta Braves, this entire behind-the-scenes stuff from the season, including like meetings where they'd go to Ted Turner's place. It was this mansion, and they got a boardroom, and there's Ted Turner sitting at the head of the table. And then here's Joe Torre, the manager, and the rest of the baseball staff all sitting around the table, and they're just hashing it out, And there were a few scenes in there, Bill, where Ted Turner's just letting them have it.
Mm-hmm.
He's letting Joe Torre have it about why didn't he make a pitching change? And Bob Gibson's down on the other end of the table, and he pipes up, well, when I go out there and I talk to them and I tell them to do this, that, and the other, and sometimes they just don't do it. And then Ted Turner was like, yeah, well, that's what I'm paying you for. It's your job to get them to do it. I mean, they were letting the feathers fly. And I thought to myself, I'm looking at Bob Gibson, this Hall of Fame pitcher. And back then, he was still sort of in shape.
Yeah, big dude.
I would not have had the guts, even Ted Turner, to sit at one end of the table and point my finger at him and yell at him like that. Bob Gibson gets some fire in his eyes, man. He intimidated people.
Yeah. Ted was pretty vocal from the stands. He was at pretty much every game.
Yeah, he'd sit over there. And even you remember that stunt he pulled where he made himself the manager for like one game?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
He gets mad. And he was treating it like it was a WWE or something. It's all public. And he fired the manager, Ted Simmons, for like one day or something.
Yeah, brought him back.
And Turner makes himself the manager for a ball game. And Major League Baseball, the entire organization had to put in a rule. Okay, new rules. No owners can do that anymore. They had a Ted Turner rule because of what he did.
He was a pioneer of sorts, I guess.
Yeah, he really was. Yeah, he was. He's out there, but man, he got it done. I really think not just Braves fans, but I think any sports fans, if you have 20, 30 minutes to go look up something and kind of see some stuff you've never seen, see what it was like, and kind of see how far, frankly, baseball has come. Go check that out on YouTube. Look up A Long Way Till October, Atlanta Braves, like 82, 83. I think you'd be fascinated by the behind-the-scenes stuff. Dog Tired in Florence, he texted the show, and he says, Bob Gibson once injured his shoulder wore a sign on his back that said, "Yes, it still hurts, and I'll let you know when I'll pitch again"? Really? Unnamed texter. Since we are talking about baseball, who would you say the best teams in Major League Baseball are right now? I would say Dodgers, he's a fan of. Padres, A's, probably the Mariners because they're hot right now. Yeah, I mean, Dodgers, it's really the Dodgers and everybody else. The Dodgers were great last year, win it all last year, and guess what? Go right back out and win it.
Year.
Yeah, go right back out and get better.
And they're playing the Padres right now, and it's been a great series.
Yeah, it is a great series. Super competitive. But the Dodgers, they win it all last year and then go and add Trevor Bauer to their pitching staff. That's just embarrassment of riches for the Dodgers right now. Hats off to them. I think it's them and everybody else. If you get a chance to watch Kendall Graveman, former Mississippi State pitcher, pitch for the Mariners, he's in Seattle. Watch that. He's got some juice mowing people down, throwing 98, 99 miles an hour. Never even got close to throwing that hard in college. He's lighting people up right now, though, for sure. Unnamed texter said, "Are you going to the state game Sunday, Matt?" No, I will. I'm right now planning on being there Friday and Saturday, as I'm going to be in a booth with Bart Gregory filling in for Charlie. Charlie's got, I don't know this. I think Charlie told me he's running like in a marathon or something like that. Yeah, so I get to call some games with Bart this weekend. And then Sunday between State and A&M, that game is, SEC Network TV stuff, so they'll have the TV broadcasters for that. Even though they probably aren't going to be at the stadium, they'll do that, so I'll just watch it from home. Most likely.
Yeah, I was glad to hear that Jim and Jay went to Nashville.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said I'm glad to hear that Jay and Jim were actually in Nashville.
Yeah, they made the trip. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good to hear them back in the stadiums.
Right. And let's see, Bill. It was. All right, hang on. Let me see if I can remember where it was. Shoot, what game was I watching? Strong. It's boggling my mind now, but I remember seeing this week a ball game where the announcers were back in the booth. This is TV. They're back in the booth. They had them separated by the glass divider there, but at least had them back in the booth. And I thought, okay, that's good to see. Lynn texted the show. We were talking about hitters, pitchers. And I missed this. Denzel wanted me to, he says, Matt, have you covered this? If not, your thoughts. I think it's awesome. This, I think, was maybe what I was looking for earlier, and I couldn't remember who sent it. But it says right now in the Pioneer League, they're not going to have extra innings. They're going to have a home run derby. Get this. Each team designates a hitter who gets 5 pitches with the game determined by the most home runs hit. If it's still tied after the first knockout round, another hitter is selected for a sudden death home run face-off. So then when you go sudden death home run face-off, what is it, one pitch after another? Like alternating pitches? How about that? Are they really doing that in the Pioneer League? So it's very soccer-esque, isn't it? And just having a shootout at the end instead of extra innings. Who throws the pitches? I mean, do they bring
I was going to ask that too. Who's the pitcher? They just swap the pitchers in and out, or?
Well, and I'm thinking if it's home run contest, what do? They bring the pitching protector out there and let the batting practice coach serve up meatballs and see who can hit them out? That's weird. I mean, who's going to do the pitching? How do they do that?
What has happened to baseball?
They're just looking for anything. That's what it is. Look, man, you can say what you want. I mean, here we are, a sports show, okay? And we survive with college sports in our neck of the woods. I mean, the SEC is king here. SEC football is king, number one. Frankly, just call it like it is. in the state of Mississippi, SEC baseball is number 2. It's not basketball. In Mississippi, it's this order: SEC football and then SEC baseball. And I know it's not that way everywhere else, but in other parts of the country, I'm just telling you, the pandemic thing of last year and what everybody's been through and staying away from games, people spending their discretionary income in other places, the overall interest, especially in professional sports, has just deteriorated. It has waned. It has started to backtrack. And maybe it'll come back, but I just wonder if you don't have baseball sitting there going, how do we put the wheels in motion now? Because if something doesn't change, then in about 3 years from right now, we're in big trouble. You can't help but wonder. All right, y'all stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if you know who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi. And that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Now, if you know your oats and want to feel your oats and taste how good an oat cereal can be, well, you'll go for Cheerios. Great way to start the day with really great eating. That's Cheerios, one of the few foods made from oats. The tasty cereal grain everyone should have at breakfast. Crisp and golden as only a toasted oat cereal can be. And nourishing? Why, a Cheerios breakfast gives you the power protein that grown-ups need to help stay in trim and youngsters need to grow on. Toasted oat goodness, toasted oat flavor, a delicious power breakfast. That's Cheerios.
We choose to repair your vehicle according to your vehicle maker's repair procedures, and we refuse to cut corners. Your safety matters, your family matters. Don't be steered to another shop. Choose Clinton Body Shop. We take pride in perfection. Seriously.
And now the guy who's not bald. He's just taller than his hair is.
Nice hair!
It's the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone and worldwide. Online at TheZone1059.com.
All right, back with you, rolling along. Hour number 3, presented by Overstreet Properties in Starkville. Buying a home in Starkville? Having a condo that's yours when you come into town? Investment property, or leasing an apartment, place to stay, for a year or a semester. You're a student. You have a student. Anything like that. Trust me, go to Overstreet Properties. You can find all the contact info at hold on. Time out. Back up and punt, Matt. Overstreetproperties.com. There, I got it out for you.
Easy for you to say.
Apparently not. Apparently it's not easy for me. How about, I got one for you, Bill. Here you go. Here you go. So we just had an On This Day from 1971. It was Hank Aaron hitting that home run number 600 on April 27th, 1971 against Gaylord Perry and the Giants. That same exact day, that night, competing maybe with that home run in primetime television, the final episode of Now, if you're out there and you choose to sing along with the Green Acres theme song, just go right ahead.
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is a life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Cheap Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Final episode of Green Acres this day, 71.
New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling.
I get allergic smelling all that hay there.
Just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
So you had one of the main characters on that show is a guy from Mississippi, right?
Yeah,
yeah. And I'm drawing a blank on his name. I know he lived down in Laurel.
Used to do some infomercials here in town for the sighting people.
Yeah, that's
Is that
right.
Tom?
I'm going to look it up right here.
Yeah.
He was, and he passed away in 2020, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
19 or 20.
Wasn't Tom Lester, was it?
That's it. I believe you're right.
Yeah.
I believe you are right. I'm glad you.
Old Eb.
That's him. Great accent.
This is Old Eb for the sighting company.
You could, and when Tom made appearances, but even on that show, you know how you can spot a fake Southern accent.
No, his wasn't.
2 words into it. His was absolutely authentic, and you could tell it as soon as he opened his mouth. Tom Lester from Green Acres. What did it say here about him? Born in Laurel, Mississippi, 1938, and lived in Laurel most of his life, apparently. He passed away on April the 20th of 2020, so right at 1 year ago. I remembered hearing that. It said he passed away at 81 years old in Nashville, an actor, and then became an evangelist. How about that? Tom Lester. So what was the name of his character on Green Acres?
Eb.
Now, there's a name that isn't used enough. You have 2 kids, you name one Eb, the other one Flo. I mean, come on.
Flo.
Yeah, Green Acres on this day. Let me give you one more historical note.
Mr. Haney?
Mr. Haney? That's great.
Mr. Haney.
And Eva Gabor. Okay, so this day, 1982, Reggie Jackson, who left New York when the team decided not to renew his contract the year before in 81, returned to Yankee Stadium as a Los Angeles Angel. And even though he's on the road, Yankees fans loved it. He hit a long home run that contributed to a 3-1 win over his old team, the Yankees. He hit it in the upper deck. Here's what it sounded like.
Well, we go to the top of the 7th in a 1-run game, 2-1. Angels lead it, and to tell you all about it, here's Frank Messer.
And Reggie hits one out. First pitch, upper deck, right field. First pitch from Guidry, and Jackson creams it into the upper deck in right field for his first extra base hit of 1982. You think Yankee fans aren't giving Jackson some kind of welcome, a standing ovation? Really an unbelievable reaction to Reggie Jackson creaming a Guidry pitch. You think Reggie's still out of Yankee uniform. He comes out and he takes a bow.
Yeah.
Ooh, hit it off the Cajun Guidry, too.
Yes, he sure did, off of Ron Guidry.
Yeah.
The first extra base hit of the season, which must have taken him a couple of weeks to get to it, but when he hits it, it hit the upper deck in Yankee Stadium. They immediately give him standing O, and here's what the note says. Apparently, our highlight there turned off or cut off until they got to this point. He did the little tip of the cap on the top row of the dugout. The fans showed their displeasure about losing Mr. October to free agency by chanting, "Steinbrenner sucks," throughout the rest of the ball game. The Yankees owner stood defiantly in his box during the whole thing. I'm telling you, man, that's great. Give me a documentary on that. I'm sure it exists out there somewhere. Yeah, that was pretty cool. The next year, 83, April 27th, 1983, Nolan Ryan became the first of 3 major leaguers that year to break Walter Johnson's 56-year-old record when he got his 3,509th career strikeout. Struck out a guy named Brad Mills. I don't remember. So who they've been playing, I'm not sure. Okay, how about this? two other pitchers did the same thing in 1983. That is, broke Walter Johnson's strikeout record. Steve Carlton did it for the Phillies, and Gaylord Perry got there in August. That's pretty cool. You know, I mean, look, you're talking about, what, 40 years ago? Shoot. Almost 40 years ago. Back to Tom Lester from the Green Acres, tip of the cap right there. Gail, who's tuning in on Facebook, told us that Tom Lester was a good buddy of theirs. That's great. So you knew them. That's really cool. Would have loved to have gotten to meet him. We got George on line 1. I think I've got a little time. George, what's up?
Hi there, Matt. I was this is George Steinbrenner. You wouldn't believe, but we had to release Reggie Jackson. We just had to make some space. I got it from that traveling secretary, George Costanza. I just had to release him.
You're telling me, George, that Costanza is the reason you had to let Reggie go?
I mean, I listened to everybody, but he said I had to do. So I said, hey, I'll do that, and let's go eat some Lunchables. He gave me some Lunchables, and he said, hey, you know, I got Reggie Jackson. You know, I don't think he's doing too well. I think we should get that. We should get one of those other guys that's doing pretty good down and bring him up from the, the farm system. You know what I'm saying? But I just had to listen to him because you know he's a part of the team. You know what I'm talking about? But I regret that decision, even in the afterlife.
He's still regretting it in the afterlife.
Oh, boy.
Thanks for checking in from the next level, George.
Ever feel... After these messages, we'll be right back.
Arrived today. Jeans do come true. Thank you, Blue Delta. Yeah, jeans do come true. That's what the bag says. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi, my hometown. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase. Again, that's if you listen to me, you can use discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, and at checkout, you're going to get a 10% discount off your order. So I just went online, ordered them, BlueDeltaJeans.com. A couple weeks ago, went in. I didn't go get measured. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are at my doorstep a couple weeks later. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Nice. I'm happy. I've known the Blue Delta team for years, and I'm thrilled to have these guys on as a sponsor of this show. Blue Delta's virtual tailor is a fun and easy way to get yourself into the best fitting pair of jeans you're ever going to own. Bet you never thought you'd get a butt shot out of me, huh? How about that? Just answered the questions and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions. It's amazing how they do it. They will fit perfectly. You're not going to find better material and better feeling pants, period, anywhere. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I promise you that. And I know that you are going to love them too. Make sure you use the code. And remember, jeans do come true.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today, and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time.
Thank goodness for Jello instant pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jello instant pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jello instant pudding, made by the famous Jello folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good, busy day dessert. Jello instant pudding.
And who's on your radio?
Right now!
You got the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
All right, here we go. All set to wrap up with you. We've got a few minutes left, and then we'll hand you off to Jake and Beeve on the drive coming up here on 105.9 The Zone, ESPN Radio Jackson, WRKS. I'm Matt. Bill is here. We're in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. You do have some SEC midweek baseball tonight, but State and Ole Miss don't have midweek games. Neither do. And they're taking tests and stuff this week. So no midweek games this week here, but around the league tonight you have, or this evening, afternoon, coming up at 4, you have LSU hosting Grambling. Tonight at 5:30, this is all Central Times for us. Kentucky hosts Eastern Kentucky. 4th-ranked Tennessee is hosting Lipscomb in Knoxville. Here's a game that'll be on your TV if you want to watch. I think it's pretty interesting. Georgia versus Georgia Tech. Little rivalry across the conference there. I think they might have played each other once this year. You'd have to look that up and see. I think Georgia Tech may have won that one. Anyway, that's only a guess. But it's on the SEC Network at 6 if you want to watch that one. Also at 6 tonight, South Carolina, 13th ranked, hosts the Citadel. Tonight at 6, UAB will host Alabama over in Birmingham. Also at 6, Central Kansas State hosting Missouri. Little SEC Big 12 challenge there. And at 6:30, the Texas A&M Aggies will host Texas State. And the Aggies will play tonight and then hit the road and get to Starkville and play 3 games this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Arkansas, number 1 team in the country, was supposed to host Missouri State tonight, but that has been canceled, and it says COVID. So I hadn't heard anything COVID related with Arkansas, so it must be the opponent, Missouri State. So that one is off and will not happen. And as I said, State and Ole Miss are off. Got exams going on, no midweeks. Is it the same thing for Southern Miss? No midweeks for them? They are not playing tonight and none tomorrow night either. So a little off week for midweek stuff, back in action this weekend. Here is a story for you. Sure, if you're a diehard sports fan and you're like getting notifications on your phone and you're tuning in and going to different websites, you're probably going to have seen this headline. But if you're not, it may have gotten by you. Not that trouble at LSU is anything strange to you. I'm sure you've heard about that. But this is new. According to Heather Dinich from ESPN, she's a senior writer, 7 women have filed a federal class action lawsuit against LSU and its leadership. They filed the lawsuit yesterday, Monday, the 26th. University's former president and athletics director, as well as its athletic fundraising group, are among those named as defendants, according to a copy of the lawsuit. It's a 118-page document. The women attended the Baton Rouge campus at some point from 2013 to 2021. And it claims that they, quote, were victims of sex-based discrimination, including rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment, and or stalking perpetrated by male LSU students. The women there include 3 former LSU tennis players, 2 former student workers in the football recruiting office, a former student, and a current student. They are alleging in this lawsuit, and this is a word according to the lawsuit, a conspiracy by the defendants to keep them quiet and to, it says, deprive them of their constitutional and federal rights in order to protect the reputation and income of LSU athletics. They are seeking more than $5 million in damages plus court costs. You know, are there any details? Well, it says that the lawsuit anyway, that they got a copy of yesterday at ESPN, says that the majority of these women were not able to report their incidents to the Title IX office at LSU. The reason, they say, is, here's another quote from the lawsuit, because LSU employees discouraged or even overtly prevented them from doing so, from reporting it. It also says that the women who were able to file complaints to the Title IX office were ignored and their complaints were not appropriately investigated or addressed. Some plaintiffs experienced unlawful retaliation after attempting to report about it. All right, so ESPN reached out to LSU yesterday. They got a statement, but basically of here's how it works for us type of statement from LSU. Their LSU Vice President of Communications and University Relations, his name is Jim Saborin. He gave a statement to ESPN. It says, "We've only just been made aware of the lawsuit through media stories and therefore can't comment on something we have yet to review. Instead, we are focused on taking actions to ensure that we create a campus that is safe, just, and worthy of the trust that has been placed in us." So former athletics director Joe Oliva is named in the lawsuit. It's interesting because, the reporting in Louisiana that has been done over the last 6 months that led to the issues for Les Miles. You guys remember that? Y'all remember? So they're digging, they're doing freedom of information requests for documents and different things and emails, university emails, as the media investigated this stuff. And what they uncovered led to issues for Les Miles, ultimately to his firing at Kansas now, right? So he's got his own issues with this stuff. Well, what it uncovered is that Joe Oliva, the former AD at LSU, at one point back in 2013, in emails that you can read them, said we need to fire this guy. We got to move on from Les Miles. Basically advising the university, you got to head this thing off. It ain't good. You got to get rid of him. Well, they didn't do it. They couldn't do it. At the time that all that came out, things got really ugly over the last month or two for Les Miles because of all this stuff that happened while he was at LSU, led to his firing at Kansas. It sort of made Joe Oliva, the former AD, look more responsible than some of the other people there, because he was there and has confirmed again in emails that he was saying, look, I've talked to this guy about stuff before. He hadn't changed his activity and we got to get him out of here. Despite all of that, he is named in this because a lot of this stuff happened while he was the AD. Okay, so he's named in the lawsuit anyway from this class action lawsuit. I'd point that out. I think it's important. It names him and 6 current athletics department officials. And it's not just men. They are naming in this lawsuit LSU Executive Deputy AD Verge Osbury. They are naming Senior Associate AD Myram Seeger. women's tennis coaches Julia and Mike Sell, football recruiting director Sharon Lewis, and assistant director of recruiting operations Kiva Soil Cormier. They've also named the LSU Board of Supervisors former President F. King Alexander, who we know resigned last month at Oregon State because of backlash from all this stuff coming out of his time at LSU. It's about as ugly as it gets. It's about as ugly as it gets. And so not only do you have now a second federal Title IX investigation going on, you now have a class action lawsuit on top of it. And if you want to read more about it, you can. There's all kinds of stuff. There's quotes. ESPN has gotten a copy of this lawsuit and has basically handed it over to, readers through pulling out the most important quotes and all that kind of stuff. So to say that they have an issue on their hands would be an understatement. It really is a mess. Sven says on YouTube, LSU is just a mess. And it really does kind of look that way. And it's interesting how, like yesterday, they made all these great headlines, positive headlines, hiring Kim Mulkey as their head women's basketball coach, hired her away from Baylor, 3-time national champion, Hall of Fame coach, now going to coach at LSU. And, there's all that positive news. And then today, the update on this, you get the class action lawsuit, and it's so unseemly. But unfortunately, it's kind of the world we live in now. Because it's the world we live in now. I couldn't help but, it's one thing they showed Kim Mulkey there. She's getting a hug from Ed Orgeron, and he called her. He said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "Don't call me ma'am. I'm younger than you." Stuff like that. And there she is with Paul Maneri. I saw a photo shoot. He welcomed her when she got off the plane. And then there she is, big smiles, handshakes, high-fiving with Will Wade. Louvier finishes us today, says, "Wow, all those named defendants are the people who knew about the bad guys who committed these horrible acts, and they did nothing and said nothing, allegedly." It's a mess. All right, for Bill, I'm Matt. We'll do it again tomorrow. See you then. See ya.
Live Oaks wants to make your new year a